Good evening, and thank you for participating in our live virtual community meeting today. My name is Kenya Williams with Houston Public Works, and the goal of today's meeting is to keep you informed and know what to expect during construction of the water line replacement in Midtown area and Winlow Place, Dearborn Place, Montlew Place, and Lancaster Subdivisions Project. Before we dive in, we kindly ask that you hold all questions until the end of the presentation. We promise many of your questions will be answered along the way. For now, we'd love your full attention at this time. Stay tuned. There will be a dedicated Q&A session at the end where we'll be happy to address any remaining questions. Here today is the Assistant Director for Houston Public Works, Tanu Harriman. She will introduce the project team responsible for this project to you. Tanu?
Thank you, Kenya. Good evening, everybody, and thank you very much for attending with us today, this meeting to receive important information about the project. There are several people behind this project. I've worked very hard to bring this to you all, and I would like to start with the City of Houston team. Freddie Ordonez is our project manager, and Sudarshan Gooni is our managing engineer responsible for the team. We also have our engineering consultants on board. Ricardo is our project manager, CPNY Inc., and we have a construction management and inspection services on this contract as well. And John Mudd would be our CMI project manager. We also have Resicom Inc., which is our contractor. And we have John and Masheed from Resicon with us today. Right back to you, Kenya. Thank you.
Thank you. So let's discuss this project, how to prepare for it, and who to contact. This $15.7 million waterline replacement project will begin in winter of 2025 and be completed by winter of 2026. The scope is for the construction of approximately 57,000 linear feet of water lines, including valves, fittings, connections, and fire hydrants. The work also includes site and pavement restoration, including curbs and gutters, ADA wheelchair ramps, concrete driveways, sidewalks, sidewalk replacement and repair, tree protection, stormwater pollution prevention, and traffic control in relation to the construction of the water line. The trenchless technology method will be used for water line construction. The contractor is Resicom Inc., and the project manager is Freddie Ordonez. So what do the seasons mean? Our construction timeline is as follows. Winter constitutes January, February, March. Spring is April, May, June. Summer is July, August, September, and fall is October, November, and December. So for this project, we will start in winter of 2025 to be completed in 1 year of winter 2026. We know construction can be disruptive, but here's some advice. Organize, don't agonize. With a little preparation, the project will be done before you know it. Step 1, keep your door hanger notification. That little door hanger isn't just a piece of paper. It's your direct line to important project contacts. Step 2, clear the right-of-way. To keep things moving smoothly, remove all objects from the right-of-way area as soon as possible. If you have any special landscaping, relocate plants now if you want to save them. Grass will be restored after construction is complete. For most properties, the right-of-way extends about 2 feet from the back of the curb. The city and contractor will have full access into this space, and once the project is done, they are required to restore the area to city standards. Step 3, meet the project team. Want to stay in the loop? Join the monthly contractor status meetings. This is your chance to meet the contractor, inspectors, and the project managers and get the latest updates. We appreciate your patience and cooperation. Let's get it done together. Great news! The contractor has a restoration plan in place for all properties affected by the project. Once the work is completed, They are required to restore the impacted areas to city standards, so please do not make repairs yourself. Restoration typically starts after the project is fully completed. The city conducts a final assessment before approving the contractor's payment, ensuring that all restoration work meets our standards. We strongly recommend that you document current conditions by taking photos of your property, especially the right-of-way area near the street and curb. These photos will help resolve any questions when it's time for repairs. Have a decorative driveway or walkway. If it's in the right-of-way area, the city will restore it to the standard codes and regulations. However, special materials like pebble finishes or decorative patterns will not be replaced in kind. If you wish to restore these custom features, you may do so at your own expense with a contractor of your choice. We appreciate your patience and cooperation as we work to restore the community. If you have any questions or concerns, feel free to reach out by dialing 311. Please be aware and obey all construction signs and barriers. Safety is priority number one for everyone involved in this project. For your safety and ours, please pay attention to the following safety objects shown here. Let's take a look at some potential impacts. Water. You may lose water for a short period of time when the contractor is reconnecting to installed water lines. The contractor will provide notice 48 hours in advance when doing so. Trees. A tree protection plan is in place, and the city has identified trees that can be preserved during construction on a case-by-case basis. Both the city and the contractor are taking every precaution to protect existing trees and properties as best they can. Additional right-of-way markers may be placed along the curb and sidewalk driveway area, and removal of these causes added delays and expense. Please do not remove these markers or any protective precautions that have been provided in the adjacent property. Traffic and driveways. There will be construction vehicles and equipment present throughout the project. The contractor will set up traffic control and detours as necessary throughout the project to best alleviate mobility issues. We are always here to help. Have questions or concerns during the project? We've got you covered. Call 311 anytime for assistance. Prefer email? Reach us directly at engage@houstontx.gov. Your feedback matters. Let's stay connected. First, a big thank you to Councilmember Kamen and the incredible District C staff for their support today. A special shout out to Tanu Hiremith and her amazing project team for their dedication and participation. Of course, we can't forget our fabulous public engagement team. This meeting wouldn't be possible without you. And most importantly, thank you for joining us today to stay informed about this important project. Your time and attention mean everything. Keep the conversation going. Share what you've learned today with your friends and neighbors. It's Q&A time. My favorite part of the meeting. Being here comes with perks. You get your questions answered in real time by our amazing project team. Now's your chance to get the info you need, so don't hold back. Ask away. And now, to guide us through this interactive session, I'm excited to introduce Ryan Prillman from our fantastic public engagement team. Take it away, Ryan.
Thank you, Kenya. And thank you for joining us for the question and answer segment of today's meeting. Before we begin, I'd like to go over a few important guidelines to ensure a productive and respectful discussion. This is a question and answer session, so please keep your submissions in the form of a question. Comments, opinions, or general statements will not be addressed during this session. If you'd like to leave feedback, we encourage you to email us directly at engage@houstontx.gov. Next, bullying, harassment, or inappropriate language will not be tolerated. Any comments that are offensive or disrespectful will be removed. Next, Questions should relate to the water line replacement project and its impacts on Midtown, Winlow Place, Dearborn Place, Montlew Place, and Lancaster. If your question is about an unrelated topic, we may direct you to the appropriate department. We appreciate your cooperation in making this session informative and constructive. Now, let's get started. First, select the Q&A on the right side of the screen. It's the bubble with the question mark in the middle. Second, type your question into the compose box and select send. You can remain anonymous by selecting ask anonymously. Some questions may require further research and may not be answered tonight. As such, we strongly encourage those to submit questions to also include your name and email address so we can follow up with you later. So let's get started. All right, first question. Philip has a question. Philip asks, will it be done street by street or the entire area at once? Someone from the project team, please.
It will be done street by street.
All right, thank you. All right, so Philip wants to clarify. By done, I mean street work will be fully completed before moving on to another street. Let me repeat that.
Can the contractor, is someone from Resicon possibly could talk about the phasing?
This is Shishi with Resicom. Good evening, everybody. We're looking forward to working on with you guys on this project. We're going street by street installing water line, and no, the whole entire street will not be totally complete before moving on to another street. Water line might be complete, but not the restoration, or if there's sidewalks or whatever else that goes with it.
Thank you. All right. Next question, and this is from Anonymous. Will there be road resurfacing, particularly on Harold Street in Winlow?
Could the consultant come on board and talk about the scope? Can you repeat that question, Baron, please?
Yes, I'll repeat the question. From Anonymous, they ask, will there be road resurfacing, particularly on Harold Street in Winlow?
There is no resurfacing of the entire road. Only the portion of the road which will be disturbed during construction will be reconstructed or resurfaced according to the City of Houston ordinance.
Thank you. All right. Anonymous asks, how will we be notified about water outages and if we will have low water pressure? How long in advance will we be notified?
I would refer that question to the community engagement, but typically when we start construction, the phasing plans will be posted. I believe if there are water outages, there's going to be a notification, and the contractor can tell us towards what is your notification requirements.
We typically follow the contract documents. I think it's a 48-hour notice. There'll be notices put on doors, door hangers, and also the City of Houston, I believe, is still notifying the property owners that water will be out. And it just depends on what kind of water outage is going to be. If it's a meter service replacement, is only, minimum number of hours. If it's a major connection of the new water to an existing line, it's going to take half a day to a day. But typically you don't have outages more than 8 hours.
Thank
Unless
you.
there's an emergency.
Unless there's an emergency. Thank you. Anything else you want to add? All right.
No, unless you have another question.
Oh yeah, I have a few more questions that are coming in. From George K. Is only drinking water line affected, or is the sewer line being replaced as well?
Only the drinking water line.
Thank you. All right, from Anonymous, would you describe the trenching process?
I believe they're meaning the trenchless process. Can someone
Yes,
from the
the
project team
trenchless.
discuss that?
In a neighborhood projects, we don't want to disturb the entire length of the street. A trenchless construction, we make a bore pit at one location, enter the pipe through there, and receive the pipe on the other end. So the location of the two pits is decided by the contractor. Usually it is 80 feet or 50 feet or 40 feet, but in between those two pits, we don't have an open trench.
Thank you. All right, Philip asks, will residents still have vehicular access to their driveways while construction is going?
We require the contractor through our documents to keep access at all times to the driveways. They at least keep it partially open so you have access to your properties, and the contractor can elaborate on that, on how they manage that.
Driveways will never be blocked during the construction of the water line.
Thank you. All right. I got a couple of questions that are similar. We did kind of touch on this. Will the roadway be patched or replaced entirely? I believe it said that we will replace and restore the areas that are affected. Another question was, will all sidewalks be replaced or just intersections? Can I get someone from the project team to answer that one? Will all the sidewalks be replaced or just at intersections?
The sidewalks will be replaced based on the whatever's disturbed and taken out during the construction process with the bore pits. Those sidewalks that are disturbed will be replaced back to pre-construction condition.
Sidewalks which are disturbed during construction will be restored according to the City of Houston guidelines, and the street which will be disturbed will also be restored according to City of Houston ordinance. If it is asphalt street, it is 10 by 10 area which we restore it. If it is a concrete street, from joint to joint, we restore the entire portion.
Thank you. All right. George asked a question. What is exactly the criteria for tree removal? I think, okay, he recently purchased 2 planted trees and wants to understand if they will be affected.
We do have a tree removal plan that was prepared by a professional arborist. So the criteria is based upon the alignment of the new water line and how deep it is going to be constructed. If this particular person would like to send an address of where the trees are located, I can do further research and look into the tree protection plan to see if those 2 trees will be removed. But for the most part, we are attempting not to remove any trees.
So
Thank you.
far, we don't have any plan to remove any tree. If it happens so, it will be replaced according to the city vision guidelines. But right now, there is no plan to remove any tree on this project.
Thank you. All right. James asks, will the contractor be performing checks to make sure replaced soil materials are compacted properly? We can get someone from the project team to address that. I'll repeat the question. Will the contractor be performing check? I'm sorry, go ahead.
When we restore the pavement, the area where it is disturbed, the soil will be compacted according to the city vision specifications.
Right.
So if I could add to that very quickly, the city of Houston does employ for each project, including this one, a material testing lab that will be out there taking readings of the backfill that the contractor installs. He will take certain readings that will allow us to understand if the soil is being compacted properly. If it is not compacted properly, it does not meet the city of Houston requirements, then the contractor will be asked to fix and remedy those failures. But in the end, yes, we do monitor the testing component to make sure that the materials are compacted properly.
Thank you. All right. Anonymous asks, is this also for residential streets near the Manil collection? I know that's close to Alabama Street.
No,
Can
that area is not within the project limits.
Thank you. Next question from Anonymous. Will we need to park somewhere other than our street while work is ongoing there?
So as the construction,
you'll be able to park. You'll be able to park in your driveway if you have a driveway. If you park along the street and if that portion of the street is being disturbed, then you will have to park somewhere else. But your driveways will not be blocked. And if you have a space in your driveway or you have a gate where you can enter into your property, you can take your car into your garage. Right, Shishi?
Correct.
Thank you.
All right, well, we have the map up here, and thank you for the answer. Paul asks, could you please briefly review the streets to be affected? He can't see the tiny print on the map. Well, Paul, that's a lot of streets on this. Go ahead.
If you'd like me to, I can read off the streets.
Sure, if you have it available.
Okay. This is going to take some time. It's quite a few.
Ricardo, what I might suggest is that you read out the streets that are the outer bounds of the project.
Okay. So as you can see here on the screen, we have 2 sectors, if you will. The west sector is comprised of Richmond on the south side as a boundary. South Shepherd Street will be the west boundary. Westheimer is the north boundary, and Dunleavy is the east boundary. West Alabama kind of it bisects this sector into two portions, but there is no work being done on West Alabama. And I believe there is work already being constructed along Westheimer. Then looking at the east sector, let me pull up my map because it's a little hard to look at the screen. Okay, on the east sector, you have McCowan Street towards the northeast boundary, Albany on the northwest boundary, and Alabama Street on the south boundary. And then we have actually Travis Street will be the southeast boundary.
All right, thank you very much for taking us through that. All right, Anonymous has a question. Why is this being done? What is wrong with the current water system?
The current water system is undersized, it is old, and it has been leaking at many places. We have been replacing the portions of the pipes. Usually the pipeline which is underground has a life of about 50 years to 60 years. And we have met that condition, and the existing pipes which are existing ground in underground, they do not meet the new City of Houston design criteria. That's the reason we are replacing these water lines.
All right, thank you for that answer. I have another water line question. Where are the new water lines being placed? Under the street or in the easements? This is from Anonymous.
The water line is usually placed between the curb or edge of the street and the right of way. But if we do not see a proper place between the curb and the right of way, we usually place it under the pavement.
Thank you.
So in this case, the water line will be under the pavement, and it will not be under the pavement. It could be between City of Houston right of way and the edge of the road, or behind the curb.
Thank you. All right. I have a question about the sidewalks. What width will sidewalk replacements be? 3 foot or 4 foot? What is the regulation? Is it 4 feet? And that's from Anonymous.
If the sidewalk is 4 feet, we are not going to change the width of the sidewalk. If the existing sidewalk, which is disturbed, that portion the contractor is going to repair it.
Thank you.
In this project, we are not. Yeah, Shishi.
Yeah, this is Shishi. I just wanted to clarify, because I think at the beginning somebody mentioned that there was going to be sidewalk replacement and ADA ramps and stuff, and that's not correct for this project. This project is basically a water line replacement. The only sidewalk or pavements that are going to get replaced is the ones that we have had to disturb because we've had to cut them open to install the water line. But this is not a pavement or a street project.
That's true.
Thank you for that clarification.
Thank you. Right. Another question from Anonymous. Will the water meters be replaced? I think I know the answer.
No, water meters will not be replaced. We will only connect the proposed new water line with service lines to the existing water meters. So existing water meters will stay in place. No new water meters will be installed in this project.
Thank you. I have another question from Anonymous, and this is relating to traffic. Has the team coordinated with the local schools, particularly Lanier Middle School, to best direct school pickup and drop-off traffic flow? Or will the schools even be affected?
So
These, oh, go ahead.
what I can say is that between the City of Houston construction management team and the contractor, it is our responsibility to coordinate with Lanier Middle School. And we will understand before anything is torn up in the area of the school. We will have a better and full understanding of those traffic flows. And we will work to do our best to work with the school. And if there's any adjustments that need to be made on a short-term duration, we will work with the school on that and help the school provide necessary information to parents who pick up and drop off their children at school. But those coordinations will occur well before we disturb any paving in the area. Right, Chi-Chi?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
So they were questioning if we have coordinated yet with the middle school. And the answer is no, not yet, but we will before we start tearing up any paving in that area. We will make sure that we understand drop-off times, pickup times, and traffic patterns so that we can best assist the school with not interrupting too much of their operations.
Yeah, typically our superintendent will start talking to the principals of the schools and start letting them know that we have a water line project going. They will let them know way in advance if we need to shut down water, if there's any pavement replacement, which should be of minimal because, you know, we try not to disturb areas that is high traffic. So yeah, we'll be in contact with the principals of the schools way in advance.
Thank you for that answer. All right. So I just, we have like 3 questions in reference to Brainerd Street at the 1800 block. It was a major construction that recently occurred, and they're asking if it will be, if the street will be disturbed again after this recent construction that they already had.
So I noticed Ms. Cheryl Harris replied to one of those, and I think she said it perfectly. Access will always be available for the traveling public, and this project will not be as disruptive as the larger project. This is a small diameter waterline project, and the footprint of paving and area that gets torn up for the purposes of installing the water line is a lot, is smaller. I don't want to say a lot smaller, but it is smaller and less impacted to the area during construction.
Thank you. And I do have another question, an anonymous question. Will this project have flagmen?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Okay, and do we have any more questions? I think we're caught up on the question so far, but if we have any more questions, please type them in the chat. All righty. I'm not seeing any more questions coming in at the moment. Okay. Bill asked a question. But it's unrelated to this project. Bill, we will get your answer and related to, is there a similar project being planned for the neighborhoods east of Dunleavy Street and Mandel Place? Bill, we will get an answer for you on that.
Yes, there is a project to be advertised, and it will be done later, maybe next year.
All right, there you go, Bill. So you do have some improvements coming your way. Thank you. Okay.
Did we get, there was a question about the depth of the new water lines. Was that ever addressed? I just wanted to make sure that we address that question, please.
Water
Project
lines
team?
are usually placed between 4 feet to 10 feet. In some cases, it is more than 10 feet deep, depending on the situation there. But usually it is between 4 feet from the ground to 8 feet. In some cases, it is a little bit more than 8 feet in depth.
Thank you. And will all of the fire, excuse me, will all of the fire hose be replaced, the fire hydrants be replaced, or some will be replaced? Could you address the fire hydrants, please?
All the fire hydrants on the proposed water line, all the fire hydrants where the existing water line will be abandoned will be replaced. The old fire hydrant will be removed and salvaged.
Thank you.
All right. We got a question about Winlow. Anonymous asks, why Winlow Place? What about the other neighborhoods in the area?
We have 5 other projects around this project, and they are almost done in design, and they're waiting to go in construction. There were altogether 7 projects in this area. This is the first one which has come out. The second one, which is adjacent to this project, is coming out for construction in about 2 or 3 months. Then the other projects which are almost completed in design will follow. And they are all around this neighborhood.
Thank you. Okay. We have a question from Anonymous. The block of Brainerd between McDuffie and Shepherd is not highlighted. Does this mean that block will not be affected?
That portion of Brainerd is not within the scope of the project.
Thank you.
It is part of a next project which is coming up pretty soon. It will go in construction about 2 to 3 months.
All right, thank you. Okay. Well, that concludes our question and answer session for today. On behalf of Houston Public Works, I'd like to give a big thank you to Councilmember Abby Camming and District C staff, the project team, the public engagement team, and all of you for joining us tonight. We look forward to hearing from you. So until next time, have a wonderful night. Thank you.